In today's video, I want to share some more dressing rules I no longer believe. So in a recent video, I shared some of these and how I was going back through a lot of fashion recommendations. And as I've developed my own style, these no longer apply to me. And I've been able to break free of them and really step into a personal style that's full of expression. So in today's video, I want to share some more. These are, like the last video, things that we probably have heard a lot. And if you really step back and reflect on your own style journey, they may or may not apply to you. So let's get started. The first dressing rule I no longer believe is before you leave the house, take one accessory off. This is something I'm sure we've all heard. We're very familiar with this one in particular. And specifically as minimalism and capsule wardrobe started to become really popular a few years ago, this is something that I leaned into very, very heavily. So I would create my outfits to be as minimal as possible. And that often required basically taking off the only accessory that I was wearing. So what I've done in recent years is really started to lean into what feels right for me, my expression, and the individual outfit that I'm wearing. So specifically here, I love to focus in on jewelry, I love to focus in on bags, and then little accessories that I can tie on that don't require a lot of fuss and a lot of effort and a lot of heat or weight added to my outfit. So things like earrings and adding multiple stacks of earrings, adding an ear cuff if you don't want to get another piercing, layering my rings, wearing extra necklaces, and not being afraid that if I wear one too many rings, someone might think something or my outfit's not going to look as great as it could. Because freeing ourselves from that burden of someone else's opinion really allows you to step into what's going to feel perfect for you. Also, what I've been doing is when I get dressed and I try on the outfit and I'm playing with the accessories and the jewelry, I will just wear it. If it feels right, I'll go out wearing that. And then as the day goes on, I can check in with myself and see how I'm feeling in those accessories. Is the amount of rings that I'm wearing too much for me, or do they feel perfect? Do my earrings feel like they're contributing a lot to my outfit? Or do I feel like maybe I would go for a different style of earring? So you can really focus in on what you like and what's going to make you feel the best. And that personalization is so important and something that comes about as you get more comfortable with listening to your inner voice above every other voice. The next dressing rule I no longer believe is that everything in your closet needs to be an investment or a really expensive thing. So kind of the top end of your budget. And this came about as I think we all start on this journey to figure out our personal style, and we start reading about wardrobe essentials, closet must-haves, how to build a perfect closet, and you read articles or watch videos from really stylish people, and they're advocating for, let's say, a $200 white t-shirt. So when I first started doing that and I was seeing, okay, well, they've got really great style, maybe the $200 white t-shirt is better than my $20 white t-shirt. But as I started to educate myself on high quality, what makes something long lasting, and then ultimately what's going to work for me and my lifestyle and my budget, I decided that there's no way a $200 white t-shirt makes sense for me, and my $20 one is perfect. So this is going to definitely require you to educate yourself on what makes something well made, so you don't fall into that trap of higher price means higher quality, because it's not always the case. And then from there you can personalize it. So if you wear through white t-shirts very quickly, a $200 one isn't really going to make sense for you, and a $20 one is probably going to be perfect. And instead you can take that extra $180 and spend it on something that will last a really long time. Something like a great pair of shoes or boots, or a great jacket, a really great blazer, things that you can legitimately have and sustain for many, many years. The next dressing rule I no longer believe is that impulse buying is always wrong, should always be avoided, and has no business being in my life at all. So specifically here, as I started to really focus in on my personal style and I minimized everything, I decluttered and got my capsule wardrobe down to be really, really small a couple years ago. I was so careful careful about my purchases in an attempt to really start to figure out my style, and it worked. So what's ended up happening as a result is I've allowed myself a little bit more freedom here, specifically when I'm doing things like vintage shopping, or I'm on vacation and I'm at a great store that I wouldn't have access to otherwise. So there are a few pieces that come to mind when I was thinking about this for the video, and that is the beautiful skirt that I bought when I was in Milan. I went into a little vintage shop and it was perfect. It fit me perfectly. It had the perfect pattern, perfect color for my wardrobe, and me from a few years ago would have been like, this isn't on my wish list, I can't buy this. But me now has been able to figure out my personal style well enough to know that that won't go to waste. So I was able to pick up that once in a lifetime piece, bring it as a souvenir, and be able to enjoy it. The next dressing rule I no longer believe is that navy and black shouldn't be worn together. This is one that I remember seeing a lot, especially growing up, and as I started to get into fashion and personal style, I remember thinking, okay, yeah, this is definitely a rule. Navy and black definitely don't go together. But then as I've started to again experiment and learn my personal style and figure out my expression, I've been able to find combinations of navy and black that I really love, and it's now one of my favorite color combinations. So specifically, I think the key for making this one feel authentic and intentional is to really go for navy that's a true navy and black that's a true black. Finding them as clear individual colors allows you to put them together in a way that still lets them shine, so they don't blend together and look like kind of faded blue or faded black worn in the same outfit, and instead it's very obvious that one is navy and one is black. And when done together, I love it so much. So it's something that I wear a lot. I look for this combination in patterns, and I also look for it in tweed. I think it looks great in tweed, and also plaid. It's a beautiful combination to see circulating in personal color palettes, and one that I really, really love. And last but not least is that everything should fit you perfectly or according to classic or traditional recommendations. And then of course, always shop within your size. So this is something that I've heard a lot, and I definitely have seen replicated over and over and over again. And as you start researching personal style and building a classic wardrobe that will stand the test of time, you're probably going to see this yourself. Things like your jackets should be this wide and the sleeve should be this long and pants hems should be a certain length and all of that. And I think that that's valuable information to a point. So where I've started to free myself is I've started to use that as a framework for figuring out what I absolutely love. So things like jackets fitting perfectly on my shoulders or creating that beautiful crisp line. And then also things like my pants fitting really well in the waist, so they're not too tight, they're not too loose. But where I've given myself freedom is in every other area. So maybe getting a jacket that's a little bit looser in the body, or getting pants that are a little bit too long, so they kind of pull at the bottom, or they're wider throughout the thigh and the hip area, so they give me that freedom and that movement. And what I've started to do also is really pay attention to outfits that I love and see where things have been oversized or maybe gone down a size, cropped or taken out in the length. And that's opened up a lot of possibility, because you may be trying to replicate an outfit and you have all of the pieces, but what's missing is that they went up a few sizes to create that really cool effect. So by giving yourself that own freedom, you open up the possibilities to a lot more styling. And it's been a lot of fun for me. So I hope that this is helpful. Like always, I definitely can make more of these videos. If you're liking them, definitely let me know. And I would love to know, again, if there's any dressing rules that you yourself are breaking free of and how that's helping your style. And like always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Have a great day.